in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome as we get ready to kick off a new season here in the NNSCRA TaxSlayer Truck Series, beginning the second season of this series. And what better place to kick it off than with the NextEra Energy Resources 250 here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. 40 laps of racing on tap, and this is certainly going to be an interesting one, especially with the fact that if you go back to last season, the winner of this race at Daytona did not make it into the playoffs grid at the end of the season. So will that hold true here today? We're going to have to wait and see, but a lot of storylines we're going to have to cover, and a lot of big names in this field here tonight, including the driver who went to victory lane in this very race 1 year ago, Tony Green. He'll be rolling off in the number 4 out of Kyle Busch Motorsports. We've also got a former Hershey's Cup Series champion in this field, the season 4 Hershey's Cup Series champion Matt Haas rolling off in the number 8 machine. And we also have the defending champion of the TaxSlayer Truck Series going for his second championship in a row, and that would be Nick Johnson rolling off in the number 41 out of Thor Sport Racing. So this is going to be a very interesting grid. We've got a lot of rookies peppered through the field, but also a lot of returning drivers and some drivers that we haven't seen for a while that took part in either the Hershey's Cup Series or Pizza Deck Series at one point in time. We'll try and introduce all of them to you here tonight during the course of this race. Also, this could be a very important race in the fact that so far this season we haven't really seen any cautions, although it's been non-points events. So with that being said, this could turn into a fuel strategy race for most of these drivers here today. It's going to be Zach Winkle lining up on the pole position for today's race. Alongside of him is Joseph Romero, a former Pizza Deck Series winner in the number 83 out of Dollarton Motorsports. Then you've got the number 73 behind them. That is a new driver, H Sanchez, a rookie out of WF9 Motorsports, and alongside of her is going to be the number 51, returning H Garcia.
Start your engine!
And I did not mean to talk over the command to fire the engines. I wasn't looking at the time on the screen. I was looking at my other screen, so I do apologize for that. Pace truck going to lead the entire field off of pit road. It looks like everybody got off okay. Yes, they did. So it looks like all 42 trucks will be taking this green flag. We've already mentioned that the former winner of this event is Tony Green, and he is in this field here tonight. So we'll have to see if Tony Green can double down in his second start in this particular race, be able to go to victory lane. If you want to take a look at the entire starting lineup for this race, take a look down in the description below and show you the full 42 drivers. Not a whole lot that we're really able to give you as far as preliminary stuff here today, since this is only the second time that these drivers have been in a truck race, or I should say the second time that this series has played host to a truck race to open out the season at Daytona. Only thing that I can tell you is that we did have a photo finish last season. Tony Green was the eventual winner, and surprisingly enough, the eventual runner-up is actually in this field as well, driving the 37. that being T Tsang. Oh, we got an issue. Someone back there, I think, is trying to get to pit road. That might be the 05 of Patrick Smith, former driver from last season who was in the number 41 Dodge Ram, now driving for Flying Aces Racing in the Zaxby's Chevrolet. And I can't tell if that's him that's trying to get to pit road or not. And it looks like that is the case. He just now was able to get down to the apron, so not a good start to this race for him. We'll have to see just how serious the issue is, whether it's going to end his day early or whether they're going to be able to get him back out there. Whatever the case, though, it's time to go racing. The NextEra Energy Resources 250 is green at Daytona. Let's roll. Z Winkle, not sure what he was thinking, immediately jumped up to the top side. That opened the door down low for H Sanchez, and she's going to go to the race lead with help from R Brommer. Brommer last season drove the number 8 truck, now over with Strigley Motorsports in the 11, the Goodyear Ford F-Series. He's going to go to the race lead with help from the returning H Cervantes in the 58. Well, Goodyear helps you get there, and it helped the 11 get to the front. And it looks like he will be the first driver this season to open up with a lap-led bonus point, as he will lead the first lap of this race. But boy, did he get quite a gap from himself back to the Nissan of Cervantes. That's normally not a good thing at super speedways, and now you see the gap quickly begin to close up as H Sanchez brings her Dodge to the back bumper of Cervantes' Nissan. Would it be Cervantes with an apostrophe, or would it be Cervantes's? I don't know. Right now, they are trying to run down R Brommer. Meanwhile, look at them back here. That is H Gallant now driving the number 43 down on the inside of the number 23 of Andrew Miller, a rookie this season. And right behind them, I believe that's the 19. Is it the 19 or the 29? I can't tell. It's the 19 of Jake Smith. It's hard to tell the two Brad Keselowski racing trucks apart. There's the other one back there. You just saw him dart back to the middle. That's the 29 of I Nicholls, moving from the 19 to the 29, but still with the same team. Braden Joy in the number 70. Right there out of Gardner Qualls Motorsports. He's getting drafting help from the 28, and that is, as I mentioned, there is a former champion in this field. That is his brother, Michael Haas. Michael Haas, actually a former driver in the Pizza Hut X Series. Back up towards the front, though. It looks like we may potentially have a battle for the lead. H Gallant has been able to reel in R Brommer. Question is, will she try and make a move, as now Michael Haas slots into third place. I believe that is the 29 there in fourth. That is, yep, that's Isaac Nicholls, and right behind him, you've then got the number 51, I'm pretty certain, of H Garcia, former playoff contender from last season. Last year was primarily sponsored by Eris, now sponsored by Dollar General. Right now, R Brommer out in front. He's got a teammate that's trying to fight his way up towards the front of the field. Right there, you can see him, that red car on the inside line. That's the Skittles Ford F-Series of Harrison Ponder. And he's fought his way so far up to the fourth position. Right behind him, I believe that is the 01. That is the 01 of J Lagasee, the Titanic 01 Chevy Silverado out of Fire Ice Racing. And looks like Patrick Smith did get to return back to the track, but he is off the lead lap. Scoring has him currently situated. Oh no, he still was on the lead lap. He's about to go a lap down now. Up front, how about this? Number 13 of Wyatt Walker making his way towards the front. William Brock Motorsports driver. He's got his teammate right there, Andrew Miller, behind him, and they're going to have some difficulty getting around this 05 of Patrick Smith, who throws the block on the race leader, R Brommer. That brings the entire field into this situation. Oh, they're going to go 3 wide maybe for the lead. Nope, not quite. H Garcia tried. Not going to be able to do it, as Patrick Smith's going to probably be able to merge with this group, but he will be a lap down. That now puts H Garcia up to second place. Tyler Deaver now trying to go for third. in the 30 truck. Looks like he'll get it, but for how long? Here comes Jake Smith to the inside, and looks like he will take the spot. You got a Ford and a Toyota battling for first. A Ford and a Toyota were recently just battling for third. And now, look at the big run Jake Smith got through 3 and 4. Big run for the 19. Last year, we did not have a rookie win this race because it was only the debut season of the series. Now we've got a lot of rookies in this field, all wanting a shot at winning this race, as well as returning veterans, as Jake Smith becomes the first lead change of the day, and it takes place on lap 7, gets around fellow Ford F-Series driver Ryan Brommer. Andrew Miller now going to move into the second position. Brommer back to third. Fourth is H Garcia, and it looks like we got a battle right here between Tyler Deaver and Alex Hawkins. Hawkins, the second entry out of Gardner Qualls Motorsports. And then another of the Swigley Motorsports cars working its way up towards the front. That's the 12 Brant F-Series. You saw that red and black car. And that is Alexander Rowe, a former driver from the Pizza Hut X Series. Meanwhile up front, Jake Smith trying to do what Ryan Brommer did in the first 7 laps of this race, but Ryan Brommer wants to be able to go back to the front and do what he was doing the first 7 laps, as he's in second. H Garcia right there behind him. Brommer and Garcia, former drivers in the series from last season, so they may have a little bit better of an idea of how these trucks handled than Jake Smith might, and that could play into their favor here. And then, 4th place now, that is the defending champion, Nick Johnson. He has made his way up to the top 5. Finished out last year with a championship. Would love to start off this season with a Daytona 500 victory and very easily makes the pass on H Garcia for 3rd place. Now all over the back bumper of Ryan Brommer, and here he comes. He's making passes by himself. He's not really even having any drafting help. That is one really strong Toyota Tundra. Not able to make a move on Ryan Brommer for 2nd, at least not at this current time. Another driver making his way towards the front here. I just noticed there he is, the number 24 of Jake Moss, returning back to Flying Aces Racing. And we've already seen how Flying Aces Racing has done so far in Speed Weeks. Jake Baskinger winning the Clash, the Hershey's Cup Series race. John Art finishing runner-up in his duel. Benny Watson was very strong in his duel race. Looks like that success rolling over here to the trucks. And there is the defending winner of this race right behind him, Tony Green in the Ford. He's now up in the 9th position, trying to go back-to-back in season wins here in the season opener at Daytona. Not too far back is the driver that finished runner-up. There she is, Caitlin Tsang in the 37. Doesn't want to finish runner-up this year. Up front, though, they have gotten themselves single file, the top 5, Smith, Johnson, Brommer, Garcia, and Miller. And now Johnson, he wants to go to the front. Last season, Nick Johnson drove a Toyota Tundra out of Flickinger Racing Development, where both he and his teammate, Marcus Aachi at the time, made it into the playoffs. Nick Johnson now making the move over to ThorSport, driving the number 41. ThorSport bringing in, I believe it's a 5-truck team. And they've got some pretty good names as well for their team. Of course, Nick Johnson, as mentioned, is one of them. They also brought over Jonathan Zoerlein, still in the 88. They've also got Austin LaPlante, who made the playoffs last season in the Pizza Hut X Series. He's over here as a rookie in the number 98. Watching to see if the gap, 5th place back to 6th place, closes up at all. It looks like it's closing a little bit. They need these drivers up here towards the front to either start racing each other or to kind of break up and lose each other, which looks like that's almost the case. Right now, 6th place is J Lagasee. And now he's going to have Hawkins moving to the inside on him. That just messed up Caitlin Tsang in the 37. Are we having pit stops? Oh, we are! Pit stops taking place this early. That surprises me. I didn't expect it was going to be this soon. Takes place on lap 12 as Andrew Miller has hit pit road, as has Jake Moss. Isaac Nicholls is in. 21 of Paul Minnick has hit pit road, former truck winner from last season. A couple of the Michael Norman Motorsports cars are in. 33 of Easton Barber and the 3 of Melody Baker. I believe I also saw the 10 of PJ Williams on pit road, and there is Matt Haas in the 8. He is also on pit road. Tristan Allen, Preston Plord have hit pit road, and there is Marty Zakala, as now the race leader has hit pit road. It looks like he's bringing the rest of the field with him. Nick Johnson in the 41. Ooh, contact there between Alex Hawkins and H Garcia. Hawkins trying to get that baby woed up. And I believe everybody's coming to pit road. There's the 54 of Nicholas Raill, a 2-time winner last season. There's Austin LaPlante, as we mentioned, the number 98. So I guess we're going to have to watch the 23. Oh, we got a car that's retired out of the race. A truck's retired out of the race. That is Michael Haas in the 28. You see it there on the grid. I don't know what that is about. But whatever the case, that's a tough break. He crossed the line in 5th place the last time around. That was probably due to staying out when a number of drivers had hit pit road the lap before, but looks like he is going to be our first official retiree. Tough break there for Michael Haas 2018. Not 100% certain what the reason was. If it was a reason that had to do with on-track incident, then for the first time this season, we'll be showing you what happened courtesy of the NNSCRA split cam. Doesn't look like Andrew Miller and company got out anywhere ahead of the guys that came to pit road on the 2nd lap round. Looks like the lead may very well cycle around to the 19 of Jake Smith. And scoring monitor says that is indeed the case. Nick Johnson 2nd, Ryan Brommer 3rd, Heather Gallant moved up to 4th, with Alec Hawkins there in 5th. We'll have to see about that 7, just how up to speed he's going to be after getting some front-end damage from H Garcia. And it's Caitlin Tsang, Andrew Miller, Jake Moss, Tyler Deaver, and Isaac Nicholls were the top 10 when they completed the cycle of pit stops. But look at that. Look how quickly they caught the 19, and Nick Johnson immediately goes back to the front of the field. This is going to be a big pack of trucks, I think, because they are all really catching quickly. Comes Paul Minnick flying in along with Isaac Nicholls, Tyler Deaver. PJ Williams is in this group. Easton Barber right there in the 33, along with Jake Moss and Braden Joy. So we're about to have maybe about 12 to 15 trucks up in this lead pack. Also back there is, I think that's H Garcia, and I believe he was being flanked by Wyatt Walker. They're trying to catch up to this lead group, so this thing ain't over, as I believe that's Marty Zakala just up ahead there, the number 18. He may be an issue for these leaders to have to deal with in just a moment, as Heather Gallant to the race lead there, the number 43, that ride formerly driven by Shane Lake, who's now up in the Hershey's Cup Series. And according to the scoring monitor, there must have been an incident on pit road or something, because we've got Michael Haas scored out of the race, and we also have 2 drivers that are listed at least 3 laps down and maybe just sitting on pit road at the moment. Tony Green, the defending winner of this race, is one of them. The other one is the 92 of Nathan Stapleton. And there they are, both just sitting on the pit road for the moment. There may have been an incident that you guys have already seen that I am unaware of, and they may be getting some repairs done on pit road, but that's going to cost them a good finish, undoubtedly, in today's race. Meanwhile, up here at the front, I can't mentally count, but it looks like we've got about 15 trucks, maybe somewhere around 20 trucks up in this lead pack. It's like both Wyatt Walker and H Garcia managed to catch up, so what about some of these others? Are they going to have a chance of being able to catch up to the lead pack? Ryan Brommer has now lost this lead group. There's Hillary Sanchez and Al Lagasee. Oh, I'm sorry, not Al Lagasee, but Jack Lagasee, rather. They're back here as well as, well, that's the slower, well, not the slower, but the lap car of Patrick Smith. Then back here, you've got some more drivers. 62 of Henry Williams, the 90 of our pole sitter, Z Winkle. Patrick Bernio in the 53. Or, I'm sorry, that's Michael Whitman, rather, I should say. And then I believe that's the 89 right behind him there, stepping out of line, of Angel Alvera. 99 of Sky Commons, and I believe that's the 3 of Melody Baker in this group. And there's more drivers back here that are just riding. O Pollard, Patrick Curtis, Ricky Cervantes, Alexander Rowe, Harrison Ponder, Nicholas Raill, I believe that's Tristan Allen right there in the 81. Is that the 27? Yeah, it's the 27 of Ryan Acosta. And Jonathan Zoerlein all back in this group, and driver that started, I believe, outside of the front row, if I'm not mistaken. Joseph Romero back here as well. Austin LaPlante has lost the draft, and then you get back to the front of the field. Look at Paul Minnick, the number 21, stepping out of line there. Haven't talked about him all day, and all of a sudden he's up here towards the front of the field at halfway through this race. Paul Minnick, a former winner last season, went to victory lane in one of the two dual races we had at Bristol Dirt. At that time was driving the number 54 for Kyle Busch Motorsports, now driving the number 21 for Srigley Motorsports. Another driver also up here, Easton Barber in the number 33, still with Michael Norman Motorsports, but moving from the 3 to the 33, and certainly last year was nothing that team wanted to boast about. Looking good here today, and Michael Norman Motorsports, we know, brings a very good super speedway package. Boy, Heather Gallant did not time the move on LaPlante very well. Isaac Nicholls right there is going to move on by. Nicholls, a former playoff driver last season in the TaxSlayer Truck Series. Memory fails me as to where he finished out the year in the playoffs. Take a quick look and find out. Last year was in the 19, now in the 29. Still the same team as H Garcia. Gonna battle with him now for that race lead, and he's got a lap car on a Toyota Tundra right behind him, and Austin LaPlante helping push him there. Nicholls finished out last season. Oh, I apologize. Nicholls was apparently not in the playoffs. I thought he was. Finished 26th in points. He did have the win, as I mentioned. I thought he had enough to get into the playoffs. Maybe. Oh, no, that's right. I think if I recall correctly, I thought Nicholls was actually in the playoffs after the checker flag waved at M&M's, but that was before I realized that Tyler Deaver had actually passed him in points and taken the final playoff position. Speaking of Tyler, he's up here inside the top 10 there in the 30. And the battle is on right now for the third position. Wyatt Walker going to take the spot, and that's going to move Caitlin Tsang back to fourth. The good news for Caitlin Tsang right now is that Tony Green is not up here at the front of the field. He is multiple laps down, so she is not going to run the risk of finishing runner-up to him again this season. In fact, with where she's running right now, she may very well make somebody else finish runner-up to her this season. The one thing I'm also kind of curious about is, too, we saw all these drivers come to pit road, and it was around laps 12 to 14. Was that the only pit stop they're going to have to make? If not, if they can only make it about 12 to 14 laps, they're going to have to pit within the next 3 to 4 laps again. Saw Zach Winkle start on the pole. He has recently faded back, but his teammate out of Flickinger Racing Development is up here towards the front, PJ Williams, and Leon Green, number 10. Flickinger Racing Development last year had both their drivers make it into the playoffs, and eventually one of them won the championship. Nick Johnson, as a matter of fact, both of the Flickinger Racing Development drivers made it into the Final Four to compete for the championship at Auto Club. So certainly a very strong team, making the move, though, from Toyota over to Chevy Silverados now. It looks like they haven't missed a beat as PJ Williams up here towards the front. Battle for the lead is on. Here comes Wyatt Walker to the inside. Equally another strong team that we've seen so far this season, William Brock Motorsports. Now we haven't seen their ZX Series program. We'll see that tomorrow. But we have seen that they have a very strong Hershey's Cup Series team with William Brock behind the wheel. William Brock winning the second Gatorade Duel here during Speed Weeks. Now Wyatt Walker in the number 13 driving the William Brock Motorsports truck, one of them in this field, as they're now getting around. Driver was by himself. That was Joseph Romero in the 83, so he's a little bit slow. That's going to wad up this field again, and there we go. I was right. They are not going to be able to make it without making one more pit stop, and a number of the drivers that came to pit road the first time last time are coming down pit road first this time. And this is interesting because this puts these drivers now borderline being able to make it on fuel. This race could come down to the last drop of Sunoco in the tank. Heather Gallant now out in front. I think honestly this race could come down to who's going to be able to stay out the longest here on this green flag pit stop. Let's see if anyone rolls the dice to stay out an extra lap this time. It looks like it's about 12 to 14 laps they can make it on fuel. Looks like Wyatt Walker might be risking that. And he is indeed. That'll turn the lead over to him. H Tsang stays out with him. As do Ace Garcia and P Minnick. And also the lap machines now of Joseph Romero and Austin Lance. So right here, these four. The 13, 37, 51, and 21. If this does come down to the way the calculations are looking, it could fall into their favor, and as soon as I say that, H Tsang is out of fuel. H Tsang in the 37 went one lap too long. She is out of fuel. Wyatt Walker could very well be running out of fuel. These guys have to come to pit road this time. They can't stretch in an extra lap if H Tsang just ran out of fuel in the back straightaway, and now they are going to hit pit road. Question is the 37 going to make it to pit lane? Looks like she is, but boy, what a tough break, stretching it just a little too far. Looked like she was about maybe a half lap short of making it around completely under power. She is going to be able to coast it to pit road, but even though she makes it to pit road, and that's going to at least save her some time, she's going to lose a lot of time and a lot of track position being as slow as she was there for that majority of the. So who would this race lead cycle around to? This might be potentially the battle for the lead. Well, then again, maybe this is the battle for the lead between Easton Barber and Andrew Miller. We're going to have to wait and see. Right now they are being scored ahead of the 43 and the 29. They just passed Wyatt Walker. They are now about to pass Tony Green, and I think now this is the battle for the. No, it's not. They haven't passed Garcia. Garcia, I believe, right now would be the race leader. So these two Chevys going to try and work to catch that lone Toyota, and there, I believe, will be the battle for the potential race lead here. We'll have to see it, but I believe they will score the Dollar General Toyota as the top driver when he hits the line this time. And indeed they do. So Garcia's the leader. Here comes Andrew Miller to the inside, and he will take the position, it looks like, with help from Easton Barber. So make it Miller to the top spot, Barber to second, Garcia in third, Heather Gallant fourth, P Minnick is in fifth. Sixth place is going to be Isaac Nicholls. Seventh is Nick Johnson. Eighth is PJ Williams. Ninth place is Alex Hawkins. Right now the battle is on for 10th between Tyler Deaver and Wyatt Walker. Marty Zakala and Joseph Romero, they're the 18 and the 83. They're actually battling each other for position, but they are off the lead lap. And you got Zach Winkle back here along with Hillary Sanchez, Jake Smith, and Jack Lagasee. There's H Tsang all the way back to, looks like, about the 15th position after that issue. Staying out a little too long there when the cycle of pit stops were beginning. So right now, as they're getting around now, the slower now lap machine of Ricky Cervantes, right now it's 3 drivers up in front. Garcia, Easton Barber, and Andrew Miller. Question is, can Nick Johnson and company reel them in? The last time by, they were about 3.5 seconds back. Let's see if the gap closes up this time when they hit the line. Has it increased or decreased? It has decreased by about 0.3. Now these 3 have managed to pick up Ricky Cervantes in their group, so now they have 4 trucks in this pack, but there's a lot more well, I thought there were 6 drivers. Now they've kind of split up a little bit here. Nichols and Williams losing touch with them, so that's not good if they're going to continue their charge up towards the top 3. They do have time to do it, but they have to stay in a single file line and produce the most speed possible. Bad news now is the top 3 are single file. Now Garcia steps out of line, but these drivers remain single file. They're going to continue to increase the gap back to 4th place. Case in point, they just gained 0.2 right there, that lap. Now let's see if there's any traffic they're going to have to deal with. Wow, look what happened to the Wrigley Motorsports cars back here. There's Ponder, Ryan Brommer back here, along with Alexander Rowe. They're back here with Preston Plord, as that's Tony Green and Henry Williams coming to pit road. Or I'm sorry, that's not Henry Williams, Nathan Stapleton rather, in the 92. Still trying to get familiar with names and what rides they're in. They are multiple laps down, so that's why they are just now making their pit stops. But like I said, it's going to come down to fuel. Now I believe Ace Garcia was one of the drivers that stayed out the longest, along with the 13 of Wyatt Walker. And I'm trying to remember who the other one was. There's one other driver besides Caitlin Sang, I believe, that stayed out. So they right now would be the ones that would be good to go the rest of the way, I think, on fuel. The others could very well be a question mark, especially right now the 23 of Andrew Miller, because I believe he was one of the first drivers to hit pit road. And right now, with being out in front, he is the one that is doing the most fuel consuming with cutting the draft for the 2 behind him. He is using up a lot more fuel than the drivers behind him in Barber and Garcia. Garcia, you keep seeing, he's got a strong truck trying to step out of line for 2nd place on Easton Barber. The problem for him is he's got no drafting help to help that forward momentum to push him towards the front. They are closing quickly on this group of 5, which is rather surprising. And if they catch them, that group of 5, if they can mesh with them, that is going to be a very interesting battle for the race lead. Right there, Ace Garcia using the slipstream to move to 2nd place. He saw Andrew Miller move low, he moved low, and was able to use the suck-up off the back of the 23 to move by Easton Barber for 2nd place. That is a veteran move on the part of the 51. But now the question is, if he steps out of line on the 23, will the 33 go with him? That's the only chance he's got now to make a pass for the race lead. Still got plenty of time, though. There's about 4.5 laps remaining as they hit the back straightaway here, so Garcia doesn't have to be too antsy just yet to try and make the pass, also considering the fact that he has more fuel in the tank than the 23 does. And the 23 right now, fuel-wise, is in a very perilous position if indeed the calculations that I've been seeing are correct, with them only being able to make it about 12 to 14 laps on fuel. Because these drivers came to pit road around lap 26. That leaves them about 14 laps to go. So that is right on the cusp of being able to make it to the checker flag. Looks like it's going to be these 3 to settle out this race too, because 4th place Nick Johnson on back. They are over 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds back to the race leaders, and they seem content to race amongst themselves for those positions. Trouble for the 41. The defending champion on the apron was running in 4th position at the time. I don't know if that's a fuel issue or if that is a mechanical issue, but whatever the case, that's going to have a lot of drivers now scratching their heads, a lot of crew chiefs with sweat going down their brows of what that is all about. You've got William Brock Motorsports, you've got Kyle Busch Motorsports, you've got Michael Norman Motorsports represented here in the top 3. Of these 3 drivers, only one has been to victory lane in a TaxSlayer Truck Series race. That's H Garcia in the 51. Garcia also was in the playoffs last season. As we mentioned, the driver that won this race a year ago, Tony Green, didn't even make it into the playoffs last year. I think this is going to be a race that's going to come down to fuel. I really do. 3 laps to go. 3 critical laps for the top 3. As Nick Johnson just now leaving pit road, that almost says to me they may not have gotten that tank completely full of fuel on that last green flag pit stop. And that's another driver that second pack lost. And so that very well says to me it's going to come down between these 3. Unless they all have to pit. If they have to pit, then oh my goodness, who would be willing to risk it and try and win this race on fumes? I mean, it's possible. Oh boy. The 23 coming to pit road. 51's moving up as if the 23 is signaling. Yes, he is. Oh my goodness. And also, E Barber is coming to pit road. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. This looks like it's going to be a fuel race. Garcia stays out. Who else stayed out? Did anybody? Yes, Zach Winkle, Hillary Sanchez, Jake Smith, they all stayed out. So did Heather Gallant and Paul Minnick. Are these drivers going to try and stay out an extra lap, though, is the question. Garcia's all by himself now. All that fuel he was saving running behind Andrew Miller, is it enough for him to make it one more lap? It looks like he's slowing. Is Garcia coming to pit road? Nope, he's going to risk it. Why not? Ace Garcia staying out. Gallant stays out. Minnick stays out. They're hoping that the 51 runs out of fuel. He's got over a 7-second lead. Does Ace Garcia? Is he going to try half throttling through the corners, trying to save every little bit of fuel he can? If he runs out of fuel here, he's not going to have much opportunity to get to the inside. He's got Brandon Joy down low. Now Brandon Joy gets by. Can Garcia coast it to the win? Through turns 3 and 4, he is still under power. He's not coming to pit road. He's going to make it. What a fueled strategy race for Ace Garcia. He wins the NextEra Energy Resources 250 at Daytona. A former winner in the Pizza X Series, a former playoff contender in the Pizza X Series, a former winner in TaxSlayer Truck Series, a former playoff contender in the TaxSlayer Truck Series, and now he can add a season-opening Daytona winner to his resume. Paul Minnick made it as well. He gets second. Heather Gallant gets third. How about the comeback for Zach Winkle? Started pole, faded towards the back, comes back for fourth, and Hillary Sanchez finishes in 5th place. A number of these drivers taking risks in order to try and get a decent start to the season, and it paid off for them. Boy, that came down to more of a fuel strategy race than I expected. I think the standings are official, but I'm not 100% sure. And they are indeed. We gave you down through the top 5. Jake Smith was out in front for a bit of this race. He's going to bring it home in 6th. 7th place for Patrick Curtis. 8th place for Nicholas Raill. Henry Williams gets 9th, and J Lagasee will finish out the day in the 10th position. Down there, a couple of drivers we didn't talk about really today finishing well. Sky Com is there in 12th. Zoerlein gets 14th. O Pollard in 15th. And we saw Easton Barber and Andrew Miller was up there basically in 3rd and 1st for a majority of the final stages of this race. Had to come to pit road, and they finish out the day in 18th and 19th respectively. Gone down through the remainder of the finishing results here. Tristan Allen was the last car to finish on the lead lap. That heartbreak there for Nick Johnson. He's going to get 30th off the lead lap along with Cervantes, LaPlante, Caitlin Tsang, Marty Zakala, Joseph Romero, Patrick Smith, who had that issue at the very start of the race. Matt Haas going to finish in 37th, Preston Plord in 38th. Tony Green and Nathan Stapleton had that issue during the first cycle of green flag pit stops. They're going to get 39th and 40th. And out of the race, 2 drivers. Jake Moss, mechanical issue plagues the 24, puts him behind the wall in 41st. And Michael Haas finishes in the 42nd position. The only car to finish, it looks like, out of the race, maybe due to crash damage, not 100% certain. But Ace Garcia, who, if I'm not mistaken, finished 8th of the 8 playoff drivers last year. What a way to start off the season here for the former playoff contender as he brings it home with the win here at Daytona. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race, though. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown your full figure results, and these are your rookie points and your overall standings heading into next week. We finish off this race weekend with Pizza Deck Series race at Daytona tomorrow, and then we finish it off the following day with the granddaddy of them all. Cap off this weekend the Daytona 500, 6th annual running of the Daytona 500 here for the Hershey's Cup Series. Till then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.